Warm round of applause.
Thank you, dear family, for your generosity. We have now come to that point in the program where we will hear a message from God through a wonderful, wonderful human being who is a servant and the servant of God in our midst. There is a scripture in the Bible that goes like this: my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge. And we bear witness in what we see, not only in our life, but in our own community, that we are ruined and destroyed because we lack an essential knowledge of self and a knowledge of God. But then there comes the scripture with great, great hope. It says, how will they know except they have a teacher? And how will they have a teacher except one be sent? My dear, beautiful black brother and sister that are in the audience today, and those that are gathered together throughout the country, know that God loves you and has prepared one for us. Will you help me to receive this beautiful, beautiful black man, a brother, a friend, the servant of Allah in our midst? Help me to receive the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We say, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. That means God is the greatest. All praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. Please receive Minister Farrakhan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we give Him praise and thanks for His coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, and for His searching among us for one capable of handling the weight of a word and a mission, the like of which has never been given to a human being since the creation of the universe. What kind of mission is that? It is a mission that is called in Scripture the resurrection of the dead. And the dead are not the dead that are in cemeteries. You know how difficult it would be to go to any graveyard and preach. And I'm sure you'd come away very disappointed because there'd be nobody in the graveyard to applaud or say amen. Well, that's how difficult the job is to raise the black man and woman of America up after 450 years of slavery and injustice that has literally destroyed us as a people. But nevertheless, it is written that the dead will rise. We thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for your charity, for your attendance, and hopefully for your attention. I want to say to Brother Fontaine, you don't give $100 person who gives $100 worth of applause. And then when somebody gives 50, you give them half applause. And when somebody gives $1, you give them nothing. But you gave them applause. I just want us to be reminded that charity as a principle is really ordained by God when He orders us to spend out of what we have been given in the way of God. And then He promises us that He loves those who strive hard in His way with their wealth and their lives. He's cognizant of the tiniest donation. And He's cognizant of the one whose heart desires to give but just doesn't have anything, but just the desire makes God happy with that soul and will reward us just for the good intention. So I never want us to feel that it's only the big donor that gets respect and honor, though we appreciate the big donor. But we have become a people that look over little things and praise big men and big people, but the little brother and the little sister that are the faithful who maintain the house, they don't get the type of credit and honor that they are due. So I thank Brother Warren for his donation of $3,000, and I thank the brother or sister who donated 3 cents. My subject today is, I guess you call it instructional. To all those of us who aspire to authority, all of us who have authority, and there are those of you sitting in this audience who have authority but don't even know that you have it, but you're responsible for it. Now, I want to set the tone for this talk because I'm concerned about the abuse of authority, whether it is parental abuse of children, a husband's abuse of his wife, a teacher's abuse of a student, a governor, a mayor, a president, a king, a potentate, and the abuse of their power and their authority. And I'm concerned about little people who have authority, don't know it, are responsible for it and are abusing it. It is the abuse of authority and power that has brought this world to the bar of judgment. And whenever one has authority and misuses authority, abuses authority, and abuses those under authority, know this: there is an extreme penalty that everyone must pay for the misuse and abuse of authority. Well, why should I be punished for abusing authority? Because you're not the author of the authority that you have. So whether you feel good about your position of authority, you are under authority too. Since you are not the author of nothing of creation that you have authority over. So let's start with understanding the terms that we're going to use today. Author, O-U-T-H-O-R. An author is an originator or creator. When we look at the magnificence of what is called creation, we know that the intelligence that we see in creation lets us know that there is an intelligent creator. And since we came from the wombs of our mothers, we came into a world, a creation already in existence, so we can't say we authored anything. Not even ourselves. You are not the author of your own life. So if God gives you authority over what you did not author, then you have to be careful how you handle something that you did not author, because the author of creation knows how he wants his creatures treated. And it is on the basis of his own standard that men and women and nations and empires are judged by how you handle authority over someone or something that you are not the author of. If I write a poem, well, it came from my mind, I could say, I'm the author of this poem. But somebody likes my poem. Well, I'm glad you did. But then if you use it and don't give me proper credit for the poem that I wrote and then claim your ownership of it, you've broken the law. They call that plagiarism, I think. Well, if you can't steal the author or the work of an author, then you cannot steal the authority of God over his creation, if he gives it to you and you abuse it, then there's a penalty for that. And nobody escapes that penalty. In this world, you can break the law, you get a good lawyer, you have some money. The lawyer don't care that you did it. I can't defend a person that is wrong. But in this system, even if he confessed, yeah, I killed the dude, I'm going to try to find a way to get a murderer out because he paid me. So I'll get up and frame a lie, dress it up to get a thief off, to get a murderer off, to get a wife beater off, to get a rapist off, to get a molester off, because I got paid to fix up a scheme to free a guilty person. That's the law of this world. But when Jesus said, God is not mocked, whatsoever a man soweth, the same shall he or she also reap. That means that there is a higher law operating in this universe. That even if you beat man's law, you will never escape the consequences of your actions, though you are clever with words, though you lie, though you scheme, though you manipulate truth and circumstances to make wrong look right. There's a watcher. Did I spell authority wrong? I said O-U. It is A-U. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. And sometimes you know the truth. You just misspeak. But when you misspeak, somebody corrects you. Don't wait till tomorrow. Correct it right away, because mistakes shall not exist in the nation of Islam. They'll be made, but they shouldn't exist. Thank you. Thank you. Now, we're going to have a good time today. Now, listen to the word and its meaning, authority. Since you're not an author of creation, neither am I, none of us. But all of us have some authority. You say, well, I don't have any authority. I'm just nobody. I don't have any authority. When you leave here today, you're going to know what your authority is, and you're going to know why you should accept responsibility for the authority that you have. Authority, according to Webster, is the right and the power to command, to enforce laws, to exact obedience, to determine, or to judge. That's big time. Now, when a person has what is called authority, they have a right then to exercise power. A mother has authority over her children. She has the right to exercise power, to command her children. A husband married to a woman has authority in his house, not because I said so, but because God said so. So any husband has the right and the power to command his household, to enforce the rules of his household, to exact obedience from those under the rules of his household or her household, and to determine or to judge what goes on in that house. So, when you're a wife or a mother, you have the right. You have authority, you have the right to exercise it. And the authority that you have is natural. God used your womb and brought forth from your womb life. You are not the author of it, but you are the means by which God brought life here. So he gives you authority over the life that you brought here. Think about that. If there's a man in the house, because you couldn't have a baby without a man somewhere, that man is given by God authority over the woman. Boy, you have the right to exercise authority in your own house. But that word right means something due to one by law, by custom, or by nature. But it also means conforming with or conformable to law, to justice and morality. So you can't say you have a right to be wrong. You have a right to exercise authority, but right is weakened when the authority is not conformable to law and justice and morality, or when we exercise authority not being in accord with fact or with reason or with truth. You just got power. You got authority. So you beat up your children because you got the right, the authority to do it, but when you do it outside of justice and morality, you have diminished your right and you have weakened your authority and you've set up rebellion in your house. Now, as a father, when you produce a child through a woman, you have a just or legal title or claim. You saw what happened to the young lady who died, and there were many claiming that they might have been the father. to the child, and they went to court, and they took a DNA test, and they found out that this person over here is the father, therefore has a legal right to claim authority over that child and its life. Legality is one thing, but being morally correct in the execution and exercise of authority is another thing. If, as Brother Ishmael quoted today, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, one cannot exercise authority properly in ignorance. Listen, just listen. I don't need applause. I just want us to think today. You can applaud if you want, but I'm not going to stop you. But I really want us to think. We all have some authority. The question is, do we exercise it in conformity with morality? Do we exercise it in conformity with justice? Do we exercise it in conformity with reason and truth? Or do we just exercise it because we have it? Now, what I'm trying to do is get us to look at ourselves. As a mother, as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a young man or woman growing up in a household with different thoughts about your mother or your father because of the way you felt they exercised their authority. But the Bible tells you, mother, train up the child in the way it should go. And when it is old, it will not depart from that. So you have authority, you have the right to exercise authority, but if you don't have the knowledge of how to train the child up, then you are training them up without knowledge, in ignorance, yet you are responsible. Because with all authority comes responsibility. And you have a responsibility to seek knowledge to exercise the authority that God is allowing you to have over what you are not the author of. Are you all right? Let's move on. Train up the child. Some of you feel it's terrible to spank the child. You're hitting. If it's terrible for you as a mother, you as a father, to spank your child, and they can call 911. Dad, if you hit me again, I'm calling 911. Yeah, call them if you got any teeth left. Call them. I don't know where this madness comes from. Most of us that are here, our backsides were touched up. I mean, and touched by authority that may not have known how to train us up in the way we should go, but they knew how to train us to obey the rules of that house. Now, if it's wrong for us to touch what we brought into the world by God's permission, how wrong is it for the police to beat a man down, taser him, put a chokehold on him, or shoot him down and lie and say he had a gun, or I saw a shiny object? See, all of these lies take place to justify wrong. Police authorities are weak in that this is a buddyhood. I'm protecting my buddy who just shot a teenager running. You killed him outside of the law of justice, and went home and sat down with your wife and your children and ate your dinner with no feeling for what you just did. Some of us have become cold and heartless like that too. We can drive by shooting at another brother of ours who happens to be in another set or another gang and miss that brother and shoot a baby playing on the porch. But you smoke somebody and you think you got away with it because you got a tough gang, a tough set, so you frighten people who would come forward and point you out. You threaten them with what you're going to do to them if they speak, as though you're not going to pay for what you did. I'm going to tell you what's about to come down. I'll get to that in a minute. Did you know, young brother, young sister, that when you grow up under your mother and father's roof, or your auntie or your uncle or grandma or grandpa, they're teaching you, supposedly, or training you so that you could exercise authority over yourself. Now, every one of us looks like it was a mature audience. There's some young people, but even if you're 10, 11, and 12 and you're being taught, you have a basic knowledge of right and wrong. So you have authority over this. This is your body. This is your brain that you didn't give yourself. The greatest giver of gifts gave us this, gave us authority over it. Now, what are you doing with it? Because you're responsible for your body. So I'm smoking. Irresponsible. Because you're killing yourself. I'm drinking. Irresponsible. I'm using crack cocaine. I got authority over this, but I'm abusing what God gave me that I'm not the author of. Do I have to pay a price for that? See, not only do you pay a price, your offspring pay a price for your irresponsible behavior. See, you think you getting away, I'm getting high. But then you see the sister. You like her. She's attractive to you. You get her high. Now, the drug that you're using has poisoned your bloodstream, which has affected your sperm. The drug you're using has poisoned your bloodstream and affected your egg. Now, both of you irresponsible people that are abusing your authority over your own body, you lay down in bed and produce a child that is born into the world a crack addict. Talk back to me. So our foolishness has passed a sentence of death to our children. You see that? So doesn't it behoove us to try, since we have authority, to learn how to use it so that we don't come into disfavor with the real author? I need to know how to use my body, because I'm responsible for this. I'm of the age of maturity, so I should make good decisions for what I put in my mouth, what I put in my system, what I put in my head. I'm responsible. I can't blame somebody else for my messing up my life. I got authority over my life. And if I mess it up, that's my decision. I got to pay the price. Are you listening? Now we bring children into the world and we sit in front of the TV where we're learning stupidness. So we just sit in front of the TV and watch as the world turns. It's turning all right, Chief. And as you're watching these soap operas, you're not feeding your mind what your mind needs to help you exercise the responsibility of the authority that you have over your children. Some of you just take your children like they're pieces of meat. All right, get up, get up. Time for school, get out. You sleep. You didn't get up before your children. You didn't warm the cold house. You didn't wash their underwear or their clothes. You're too busy doing nothing. I put on them Pop-Tarts in the microwave. Who is the maker of the Pop-Tart? Have you seen their kitchen? Do you know whether the woman was scratching her back or blowing her nose while she's cooking the Pop-Tart? Don't you think nobody can look out for your children better than you? Well, why don't you get up and exercise proper authority and look out for your children? You'll pay a price for this, mother. You're not getting away. And we'll pay a price, Father. We're not getting away. You just can't make babies and run. Oh, that so-and-so, she had a baby. Could be mine, I mean. Look just like you. But it could be yours. You're going to make her look like a cheap woman just to get out of paying. You don't duck your responsibility. Shaquille O'Neal had a father. The Hughley boy had a father. Father didn't pay the boy no attention. The boy become a superstar. Here come Papa. Hey, that's my son. What are you asking for when you gave nothing? You don't give your children the time of day. You don't walk with them. You don't talk with them. You don't teach them. You don't put shoes on their feet. You don't put clothes on their back. You don't put food in their stomach. But you want to be a father? Well, Farrakhan, I just have a lot of children and it's hard. Yeah, I know. Dogs have litters, it's hard. But there's always enough milk in the tit for the baby, the dog, I mean. And if there's more dogs than she has nipples, those that come first suck first, but the others come get theirs too. God provides for all of his creatures. He exercises authority with beneficence and mercy. But he gives us authority. And we run from responsibility. Now, a Negro, wait. You don't know what I'm going to say. Don't jump the gun. But a Negro coming up from slavery, who has been beaten down all his life. And the way the slave master did this thing, he gave our women more say and authority than the man. He just reversed the natural order, so our women literally take charge. It's not right, but you do it. And what do you say to justify? Well, he wasn't doing nothing, so I had to take charge. Well, even if he was trying to do something, you still want to take charge. You don't like no man having no authority over you. You don't like that. So the Bible says children are their oppressors and women rule over them. And most black men are ruled over by the women in their lives. It gets a little funny in Islam because even if you don't know how to exercise your authority, you know you got it. But for God's sake, learn how to exercise it. Because when you try to exercise authority without reason or morality, you become an abuser of your wife. Oh, am I getting there? Yes, I am. No man should beat a woman. no man. Of course, some of these sisters today, they so bad, you better not try to beat her. Some of these sisters can throw down, brother. It's a terrible thing to see a woman beat up a man, you know what I mean? I don't know what's worse, a man trying to beat a woman and a woman really beating a man. But look at the violence that's in our houses today. The government feels they have to step in to protect the children from the parents because oftentimes we're whipping them, but we're not only whipping them for what they did that we didn't like, but we're whipping them because we're just frustrated. So we take out our frustrations on the children. That's abuse of authority. There's a price we got to pay for that. I'll get to the price in a minute. When a Negro comes into an organization, he likes to know what are the positions of authority being offered in that organization. Because I don't want to be a foot soldier. I want to be the leader. I want to be the captain. I want to be the minister. I want to be the high potentate, the grand poobah. So when you come into organizations, it is the striving for titles that tear the organization up. Or when you get a title, you're so drunk now with the title you have. You know who I am? Do you know who I am? Yeah, we know a fool when we see one. Because when you get into an organization and rise into a position of authority and abuse that authority and misuse the people under your authority, you're setting yourself up for a chastisement from God. Now, with authority comes power. And power is the ability or the capacity to act or perform effectively. But some of us got power to act, but we're ineffective in our actions. Come on now, listen. Power is strength or force exerted to exercise control over others. Every mother, every father wants control of their children. But look, there's something in human nature. It started with Adam. I don't know what it is about humans that God loves us so much that he never makes us like the other creatures that obey in the nature of their creation. They cannot rebel. The sun can't rebel, the moon, the stars, the birds, the bees, the mountains. Everything is in submission to a law. But with the human being, God created the man and the woman in his image, and then he gives you the right to choose, but he gives you orders. Now, well, he's the authority. He has a right to give an order to somebody that he created. So he says to Adam, okay, Adam, you're here. Look at the garden. Look at all these trees. You didn't offer nothing. you can eat of all these trees, but this one over here, don't bother with that. Because if you eat from that tree, you're going to get into some serious difficulty. Instead of Adam saying, okay, and start eating from all the trees that he had authority to eat from, he said, now what's wrong with that tree? That I can't eat from that tree, and that tree look nicer than some of them others. Children do this. We did it to our parents. Our parents give us instruction, and in our minds, we think we're smarter. She don't know what she's talking about. I'm going to the party. She told me don't drink out the punch bowl. But I put the stuff in the punch bowl. You know I'm going to drink out that punch bowl. Or you come home drunk. Well, didn't I tell you not to drink much? Yeah, but they tricked me. See, anytime you start disobeying instruction, you got to lie to cover or give a rationale for your wrong. Because you know mama got authority to inflict pain in order to establish control. The man knows he's in authority. There's something in your nature that's telling you when you marry a woman that you're in authority. But you just don't have the mind yet. You got the woman, you got the love, you know, you all ready for sexual activity and whatnot. Hell, the bed starts the drama. It don't end it, brother. The drama starts in the bed and ends in the court. What happened? It was so nice in the bed. Why is it so ugly in the court? That's because the bed can never sustain union. Sexual powers only last minutes, you know. But then there's the rest of the day where some serious work has to be done to unify male and female. Am I saying anything wrong? Some sisters, bless your hearts, you're so pretty, you're so beautiful, and you want a man to admire you. That's nice. You don't want to cover yourself because, oh, I'll make myself ugly if I cover myself, because he won't see my hips. He won't see my bosom. He just won't see the thing that I know he likes. I often wonder, why is it that women always do this when they get dressed? I hardly ever see a man do that. He dresses, stand in the mirror. When you see a man, so sister, what you looking at? I know what you're looking at. You're looking to see how good it looks, whether he'll be looking at it and whistling or calling you out of your name, or, hey, baby, you sure is fine, mama. He don't know nothing about what's between your ears and don't care. So this kind of attracting power that you have You can draw a man to you, but you can't keep him. You make him feel good for the moment, but you can't cook. In the old days, they used to say, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Not today. I ain't going to tell you what's the way to his heart. You already know, you're showing him the way. But in the old days, every girl, no matter whether she's going to be a professional or not, she had to learn how to make a home. Because your happiness is not in the office, your happiness is at home. So when the female doesn't know how to make a home, she knows how to get one started. But you know, a woman will shut down on a man faster than Superman can get, or Clark Kent can get in that telephone booth and change into Superman. And he used to do it fast, brother. A woman will shut down on you if you can't supply or maintain her needs. So you might feel that you hellified in the bed. Pardon me for talking plain. But if you don't have a job, you don't have any means of bringing in income, you say, well, I ain't got no job, but I'm selling enough drugs, she ought to be happy. But selling drugs is not giving her security. You can bring some money home and give her a little cash and she can drive a little car, but she's wondering when the police coming to the door. She's wondering when somebody's going to shoot you down on the street and deprive her children of a father. So you think that being a father is just having money? You can't maintain a woman with money. You have to have money, all right. Now, don't think you don't have to have it. But you got to have a little bit more. You have to have intelligence to attract her mind and maintain her as a woman in love with you through how you handle her mind and not maybe what rhymes. Oh, wow, how did I get it? Now, when you open the Bible in the book of Genesis, I'll just read the first chapter because it's very powerful. In the 26th verse of the first chapter, God says to Adam, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Now you would think it's singular. Let us make man in our image after our likeness. Well, if it's our likeness, our image, then it's more than one man that's being talked about here. So it says, and give them or let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth. Now, what is dominion? It's supreme authority or control. So when God made man, he gave him supreme authority over the earth, everything in it, on it. But when he gives you that kind of authority and you created nothing that he's given you authority over, then he's gonna have to guide you as to how you exercise authority over his creation. Last week I mentioned Michael Vick. You know, brother, he's a great football player. Comes up in the deep South where there are dog fights. Some of you that are from the deep South, you know, they have cock fights, they have dog fights, and they have human fights. The new fights that's going on now in this ring that's circular, you beat a dude down, you kick him, you bust him up, blood everywhere, and people applaud that. That's a human doing something to another human. And there's no penalty for that. That's sport. But training a dog to fight and kill another dog, that's against the law. First of all, because it's a dog. And it's his best friend. You know, black folk don't talk like that. The dog is my best friend. No. God is my best friend, not a dog. But if you pick up the Holy Quran in the 18th chapter, see, the dog became the friend of the Caucasians that dwelled in the hills and cave sides of Europe. So in the mouth of the cave, there was a dog. So don't feel bad because he loved dogs. But even if you don't love dogs, you are given dominion. And how you exercise your authority over what you did not create causes judgment to come down on you. God does not like any of us to mistreat his creatures. You take a cat and you put it in the microwave, or a dog. See, that's vicious. You have no right to do that. Now, instead of putting cats and dogs in the microwave, they're now putting their babies in the microwave. See, madness starts from irresponsible use and abuse of authority. All right, I think you got my message. Now, I'd like to come to the rulers of this world. In the Holy Quran, God is talking to the angels, and he uses this word. He said, I am going to place a ruler in the earth. And the angels said, well, what will you place in it except that which will create mischief and cause the shedding of blood? And Allah said, I know what you know not. Now, all of us have lived under white rule. Let's talk now. You got my message where you're concerned. This is not racial. It's not about hate. It's about pointing out the misuse of authority and the abuse of people under authority that brings about the judgment of America and the judgment of the world of the Caucasian people. I want you to just listen. Now, when somebody makes mischief, see, some of you youngsters, you like to do little pranks. I guess that's what Halloween is about, and a lot of these foolish things that we do, we call it a prank, a childish prank. See, I guess when the white boys put 3 nooses on the tree, see, white folks in authority say, that's a childish prank. They didn't mean anything by that. But you can't put a noose on no tree for us when we know that's how you dealt with us for hundreds of years. When you put that kind of symbol on a tree, that's not a childish prank. When the district attorney could stand in the school and say, I could be your best friend. No, you could never be our best friend. Or I could be your worst enemy. Now you're telling the truth. He said, but with this pen, I could ruin your lives. What is he saying? I have authority. I have power to exercise my authority. So if you don't act like you're supposed to act and don't cut up when we put nooses on the tree, don't you beat up no white boy, even if he busts you over your head with a bottle. Don't you stand up for your rights. I'll use my pen and my authority. And when they abuse their authority, they wonder why hatred is in the hearts of the people. We'll say, well, God wants us to love. Yes, he does. But God wants you to do that which creates love. Love don't come in a vacuum. When you treat people right, when you follow the golden rule that Jesus and Muhammad and others laid down, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, then you can create love. But when you use your authority to beat people down and become a tyrant and an oppressor and an unjust ruler and love it, then in the hearts of the people, hatred builds. Now, I'm about to say a few things that I want you to think on. I don't know any people in the annals of history that have undergone what black people in America, in the Caribbean, and in Africa, and in South America have undergone under white rule. Talk to me. This ain't about hate. It's just about facts. It is the rule of those who had authority, supreme authority over us, but they did not exercise that authority in the way that the God who created the life that they had authority over would be pleased. God is not ever pleased with a slave master. Never. Because he created all life to be free. It ain't about your color. If you want to make a slave, you want to be out with God. God hates oppression and the oppressor. And it is only a matter of time when the God of justice moves against the oppressor and his oppression. Now just follow what I'm about to say. I started going up the ladder to what's at the top of the ladder, which is George Bush and the American government. Now, I started at the lowest rung of the ladder where we are concerned, just common people with authority that we've learned to abuse because we have not accepted responsibility for ourselves. See? Now we go up the ladder. See, there's a whole system of abuse. Didn't start with you and me. It started with those who deprived us of knowledge that would have allowed us to exercise the responsibility that we should over ourselves and accepting authority over ourselves. But they did not want us to have authority over ourselves. They wanted to be the master over our minds and our bodies. You are not a creature that God made. You are a creature that the slave master and his children made. And that's why you have no peace in your life, because God didn't make you. The enemy made you. How do I know that? God made a man. The enemy made a nigger. And made you love calling yourself that. God made a man in his image and made you a God too. But the enemy turned you upside down. Now your friend is called dog. That's my dog. Look how twisted you are. You're not a product of the living God. You're the product of a real live Satan. You can't argue with me. Go look in the mirror at yourself and tell me who you are. And you can't, so I'll tell you who you are. When you cut the fool, he likes that. If he can make you, sister, pull off your clothes, put a thong on, and put yourself on television, dancing a dance that a dog won't do and can't do, but you disgrace yourself and you love it because they give you money to do it. So money has become your God. so he can offer you $1 and turn a man into a woman. I want you to play a part in this movie. Big, strong man. I want you to put on a dress and act like a woman. I'll give you $10 million. Oh, really? I'll put the dress on in a heartbeat. What is he selling behind the dress and the $10 million? He can print that in a matter of seconds and it costs him nothing. But it costs you your dignity as a man, and you're selling an idea that is an abomination in the eyes of God. Y'all all right? As I read the Bible and the Quran, I look at the mischief that has been caused by people in authority. Mischief on not a prank level, but there's another kind of mischief that causes damage, destruction, or injury caused by a mischief maker. Why can't we unite? Why can't we find common ground and come together as a people to move forward toward our liberation? Why can't you do it? Because a mischief maker has caused damage. And it's so difficult for us as a people to unite because we focus on all our differences, but we can't see where we are the same. The same people with the same history, under the same tyranny, under the same oppression, but nothing that happens to us makes us want to unite. That's very, very sad. But somebody created injury. Now watch this. We have our Hispanic brothers and sisters. That's our family. You don't see it that way. But your eyes need to be made open, because the Native Americans are original people. When white folk came to America, they call it America, it wasn't uninhabited, was it? Somebody was here. They called them Indians because they're trying to find a new route to India and messed up. So hell, this new people, they must be Indians. Don't call yourself Indian. You're not. You're the original people of our planet. Now you've got our Hispanic family mixed with what is called Indian, African, Caucasian. Go down to Mexico and see the heads of Africans in Mexico, because the root of Mexico is the old civilization, which is an African civilization in the Western Hemisphere. Don't applaud, just think. The enemy comes. He mixes his blood with the indigenous native people and produces different colors. And then he makes some feel we're better than others because our skin is lighter, our hair more curly. Now, the enemy don't have anything for you to do. He lets you go. You don't have a job. But he's bringing our brothers and sisters from Mexico. It isn't that they're just poor. Many of our brothers and sisters from Mexico that are here are poor. And America offers this light, the land of the free, the home of the brave. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Give me, you're tired, you're poor. So the poor see that. Say, well, I'm coming to America. So the brothers and sisters come, but they are being invited by corporate America because they work hard and they work cheaper, and corporate America can use our Latino family to bust up unions and put you out of a job. So you're looking at our Latino family as though that's the enemy. Say, if he wasn't here, he's taking my job. Well, wait a minute, Chief. This is his home. Say, how did America get Texas? How did they get New Mexico? Why is it called New Mexico? Was it once Old Mexico? How did they get Arizona? How did they get California? How did they get parts of Utah and Nevada and Colorado? That was all Mexico at one time. So it's written that they would lose control of their borders. See, justice demands that what was taken from the brother and sister, they ultimately are going to have to get it back. So they don't have any guns, they just make babies. Well, we don't have any guns either, but we shoot well. And as a result of this fine shooting on the range, babies coming up everywhere, outpopulating white people. So they don't know what to do with our Latino family. So they want the black and the so-called brown to hate each other, fight each other, damage each other, cause injury to each other, and the mischief maker stays back like he's doing nothing, but he's orchestrating the fight. Huh? Let's look a little deeper. You see the Palestinians? That was their land. The Bible does say that the children of Israel would return. It does say that. But return under what conditions? Have they fulfilled the condition for return? You can't have gay parades in the Holy Land. And I don't think I'm, what do you call, homophobic? You my brother. I love you, man. Or whatever. But I know that a certain type of conduct earned Sodom and Gomorrah destruction. And if you read Bible and Quran, now you can dismiss it and say that's stories of the ancients, it doesn't cut anything today. But then watch what God does. And you'll see it shortly, very shortly. He disapproves of that kind of conduct. Now, politicians can't say that. Because our brothers and sisters who are gay or lesbian or transgender, they're uniting and politically they have clout. That don't mean you're right because you got clout. it means you're united. And so the politician does not want to offend you. So they'll do a dance around it to get your vote. I'm not interested in a vote. I'm interested in us doing that which pleases God, so that the chastisement of God can be delayed or postponed or overturned, because there is a responsibility for those in authority who abuse it. Now I can conclude. George Bush, our president, he has supreme authority, brother. And he feels he's God, beside God. He lied to the American people and sent young boys and girls to Iraq and Afghanistan to die for oil. Come on. Did he abuse his authority? Does the Justice Department, from which we get no justice, have they abused their authority? Have the teachers who have failed to educate our children and theirs as well, have they abused their authority? What about the businessman who opens a business and has authority over his business, but he lies and he cheats to create a good bottom line? What about the mechanic who will tell me that my motor is burnt, but ain't nothing wrong, in order to get me to spend money? What about the liars and the cheats in business? You abused your authority. What about the father who beats his wife, who refuses to pay child support? What about the mother who allows a strange man into her house, and the strange man is going after her daughter, and she has an idea what the man is doing but doesn't want to say anything because she wants a man more than she wants to accept the responsibility to protect her children? See, abuse of authority is all the way up the line, and that is why God intends to destroy the authority of this world. And that is why, from the Christian perspective, Christ comes. He does not come to sit with Bush. He comes to set Bush down. Wait now. Not only Bush, but if you read the scriptures, he comes to take authority and subdue everything and put everything under his authority, except the one who gives him power to subdue all authority. And Christ, being made by God, will never abuse his authority, because he's shaped and molded by God to reflect the justice of God, the mercy of God, the healing power of God, the self-sufficiency of God. Well, if you're going to vote, I like Barack Obama. I do, but he ain't Jesus Christ. I had to stop this right away. No, he's a good brother, but he can't do the job that God requires. You didn't hear me. He's a good brother. And he'll do better than Bush and maybe better than Clinton and better than Giuliani, but not good enough to save America from her destruction. He's not strong enough. He's not wise enough. God has come to take over the rule and sit down all in authority. So when I asked those in the labor in the Nation of Islam to give up your titles, I was really asking you to do something to escape the chastisement of God. Because the abuse of people is what is angering God today. Whether it's the little people in the house, whether it's the woman who's a mother, or the father who's trying to work, just look at the madness in the society. When have you ever heard of people going to work, killing their foreman, killing the manager? This is going on. Now you got children messed up, coming to school with weapons to kill other children. The madness. See, this is what abuse of authority or failure to accept responsibility to act right by your authority produces. Now you see the Palestinians strapping bombs on themselves, going into Israel or other neighborhoods, just killing people. And America says, this is horrible. And Muslims need to speak out against it because it's against Islam. Yes, it is, and no, it isn't. Yes, it is, because the blood of a human being is sacred. And to kill a human being that God has not ordered to be killed is an offense to God. For a Muslim to kill another Muslim is abhorrent in the eyes of God, for the life of a fellow believer is sacred. You say, well, wait a minute. I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Christian, or I'm a Jew. Your life is sacred. You are the people of the book. Nobody has any right to take your life in the name of religion. But do you know why the Palestinians are acting like this? Because no one has given them a voice in any institution that redresses legitimate grievance. Their land was taken. They were made refugees. They are under apartheid right now as we speak. Sometimes you get to the point where you can't take it no more. You don't have any weapons to fight Israel. Israel got all her weapons from America. And she makes her own weapons as well. The Palestinians don't have nothing, so they say, well, I'll strap a bomb on myself and make your life miserable because you have made mine miserable. When you abuse authority, when you abuse power, you create hatred. And when you create hatred, It's only a matter of time before murder comes up in the mind of the one who hates. So, to my brothers and sisters in the nation, see, I want us to study how to accept authority by first being a good brother. Don't strive for any position. Just be a good brother to your brother and sister as a qualifying agent for you to come into some kind of authority. But if somebody's going to give you authority and you're psychologically damaged, you are ex-Negro who couldn't call a dog and the dog come. Now you are exercising authority and people saying, yes, sir, no, sir. Oh, that's a heady wine, brother. And you come to the mosque, you know, decked out, ready to give orders, but not ready to take any. You don't understand what it means to obey. Obedience is the key to our growth into an authoritative position, even if that authority is over ourselves. Because if you obey the God who created this body, He will show you how to maintain it. Yeah. How many of you have an automobile? May I see your hands if you have a car? Well, look at that. Now, I don't know how you got it. No, I didn't mean you stole it or nothing like that. I mean, I don't know what pains you went through to get it, but you got it. Is it your car? You got a license? You got a registration? You got insurance? That's your car. You got authority. So now you can go over, turn the motor on. All right, turned on, beautiful. I just go on where I want to go. But there's a manual that says every so many miles, change the oil. Do this, do that. Oh, I ain't paying that manual no attention. As long as I turn the key and it turns on, I'm driving. But after a while, it breaks down on you. Then you got to go to a crooked car shop who lied to you and say he's fixing it, and you take it out of the shop and it got the same problem again and again and again. But you could have extended the life of the car if you just read the manual. There's always a manual governing what you didn't create. I went to the hairdresser and I want him to dye my hair. Give me some color, little highlights and whatnot. And when they got finished, I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror. They ruined my hair. And sometimes you go home and try to do it yourself. It's that do-it-yourself, straighten it, whatnot. And you wonder why your hair, you bald the next week or hair falling out. You didn't follow the directions. Well, there are directions for life. If you follow the directions for your life, you won't break down as easily or as quickly. And when you look at the health condition of our people, it's because we don't know how to live, to take care of this that we have authority over. The end of the world of the abuser is here. His world is coming down so fast that it is written that in a short while, what are you going to do when you wake up one morning and the dollar has fallen? How many of you were born in the 60s or the 70s? May I see your hands? How many born before then? Okay, I'm going to talk to the before. I was remarking to some of my children as we were coming here. When I was a youngster, I could go get a haircut for 15 cents. And you know, that's quite a while ago. And my mother would give me a quarter, and I could give the barber a 10-cent tip. And fuss at him if he didn't cut my hair right for 15 cents. I remember when going to the movies, I could get in for 10 cents. 10 cents. Now, if you go in the evening, it's $10. Look at how fast the dollar has fallen. In 1972, I bought a Cadillac, that fine El Dorado, for $12,000. I can hardly buy a decent go-kart for that kind of money today. Now, when in the 50s and 40s, you could go to California and buy a beautiful house for 40, 50, 60,000. Today, that house is 2 to 3 million. What am I telling you? The dollar is going down. You don't travel much, but if you travel to Europe right now, you'd see that your dollar don't buy too much. The only place that the dollar still has maintained its power a little bit is in Mexico, where the peso is $11 to $1. But in Canada, for the first time in 31 years, the Canadian dollar is equal to the American dollar. They are frightened now because one day they're thinking that we'll wake up and there'll be a run on the banks, people running to get their little money out, and the money won't be worth much of nothing. So if you're going to sell your soul for $1, what will you do when the dollar has no more value? See, there's something that will always have value, and that is the land beneath our feet. So I thank you so much for spending this time with us. I sincerely hope that we will learn how to serve people rather than try to become masters over people. I want us to practice that. This is your brother. This is your sister. How can I serve you? You can make people feel better if you just treat them better. And I want Muhammad Mosques, wherever we are in America, to be a place where our people and our Hispanic people or Native American people or anybody that comes to that door will feel they're at home. And they can never be at home unless you make them welcome in that place. Nobody loves prison. And if you want to turn your mosque into a prison camp of abusive wardens and strong-armed female and male guards than the people that can leave, don't have to stay, will walk out and leave these crazed people in authority with chairs to exercise authority over. So the lessons will continue, and I'm hoping that we will grow to be great servants of God and great servants of our people. Mothers, when you go home, look in the mirror at yourself. You are an authority figure, and ask yourself, how am I exercising my authority? Fathers, husbands, do the same. And all you young people, go look in the mirror at that fine body that God gave you, that you got authority over, and don't, from this day forward, do things to destroy this body, destroy your health, and take your life away sooner than God would desire. Yes, you say, well, I can't leave before it's time. Yeah, you can rush it away. And if you don't think so, keep doing what you're doing. The wages of sin is. Thank you. Thank you for listening. May Allah bless you. As I greet you in peace, Assalamu alaikum.
Come on, Mosque Maryam, Nation of Islam. Let us hear it. Come on, Mosque Maryam, let us hear it. The instructive word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praise is due to Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We give praise and thanks for the word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank Rinza Williams, Darren Smith, Annette Jolly, and Arthur Smith, the father of Brandon Smith. These are family members of Brandon Smith, who was killed in a car accident in Gary, Indiana, last Saturday. 4 young men unfortunately crashed their vehicle, and 2 of them were able to go to get help. They were transported by ambulance and informed the authorities that 2 of their friends were still at the scene of the accident. The police found the vehicle but stated they could not locate the other 2 young men. Arthur Smith and Angelo McDuffie went to look for their sons and found them 10 to 15 feet from the scene of the accident. We are really living in the valley of the shadow of death. A black woman in Georgia, I think it's Georgia or South Carolina, one of the places. A family of white people took that girl, West Virginia, thank you. And when they said the horrible things that were done to that girl, they're not talking too much about it. It's gone out of the news. But, brother editor, I want you to get somebody to go to West Virginia and get us the facts on that child and what she went through and whatever we can do. Because any nation that does not protect its women is worth nothing. Nothing. The only reason that the Jenner 6 may get justice, although the incident happened a year ago, is because it finally came to light. And the Final Call newspaper wrote about it. And the Reverend Al Sharpton saw it in the Final Call, and the rest is history. He went to Jenner. Reverend Jackson was there, Maxine Waters was there, Dick Gregory was there, Ice Cube went down. So many went because the pain of injustice now, that they're now nationally televising, is doing the same thing that it did in the 60s. It's polarizing our people now and making us see America really has not changed. And we have to change. Huh? So, to the family of Brother Brandon Smith, may God comfort you in the loss of this young man. But I want you to know that that loss was not in vain. Every life that comes this way has a purpose. Whether we live long or short, that life that passes away, that awakens hundreds and thousands of people who, when they hear it, they know there's something wrong with this story, and they rise into consciousness. Then it was the loss of that life that brought people to consciousness. God is using some of us to awaken the rest of us. That's why the Palestinians cause those that lose their life martyrs, because their life is not in vain, it's for a higher purpose. The Jenner 6, that boy is in jail, even when they raised the money to get him out on bail. The judge is so nasty, not even going to accept bail money. But I just want you to watch. See, watch the weather. Keep your eyes on the power of God. You see the drought that has enveloped the West Coast and fires because of drought? See the floods on the East Coast and the unusual rain that's coming up the center of the country? See the tornadoes that took out a whole town in Oklahoma, I think it was. And I told my minister in Jenner, I said, just remind them, of what God is doing. Because he's angry with the abuse of authority. It won't take nothing to wipe that little town. I just hope that when he sends his judgment there, that he spares the righteous. But today, God's judgment is coming down on America. Believe me, she ain't winning no war over there. It's over, baby. You can't win no more wars not fighting for injustice. That's over. America wins no more wars. And if you sign on to her, you die with her, because ain't nobody sparing you today. Not like the Japanese did. They said to the black brother, what do you do here? It's same. See, but your mind is sick, man. So you go over there today, ain't nobody saying same, same. They just blow you away with the rest of them. And that's real, brother. You're not winning no war. It ain't about how much weaponry you got. Your weapons don't mean nothing when people are determined to be free. No power has ever maintained power in injustice to the people. So you remember that. Pharaoh was powerful, but God sent Moses and Aaron with a clear authority. And that wasn't just yesterday. That's today. Sister Florence Cox, thank you for your attendance. Attorney Tommy Brewer, thank you for your attendance. Mrs. Socorro Gutierrez, Mr. Canek Huerta, Mrs. Raquel Mayer, where are you? Would you stand, please? We just want to honor you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have a son, and Mother Tinetta has children that grew up in Mexico, have learned the language, the customs, the culture of the Mexican people. This is not an accident. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad did not place Mother Tinetta in Mexico because he just wanted her to be there. He sent her and her children there so they could grow up in that culture, because in the final analysis, the Mexican, the Latino, the black, the Native American, you will see, will come together in a unity and a power that the enemy will have to deal with. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Come on, brothers and sisters, let the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan hear it. Give him a warm round of applause.